At its height, the Mongol Empire was one of the largest, most expansive empires in known human history. This feat of military cunning and brute force is often attributed to the influences of one man, Genghis Khan. But what if I told you that the fearsome leader of the Mongols had some help from Mother Nature herself? Today we are going to explore the effects that climate may have had on the rise of the Mongol Empire. Before we can discuss the Mongol Empire, which reigned for most of the 13th century, we need to take a closer look at the culture of the Mongols at the time. The Mongols were nomadic tribes scattered across the lands of northern Asia. While Mongol culture emphasized loyalty to one's clan and military prowess, the clans had not had one unified leader in generations. These clans warred between themselves constantly and could not become allies or enemies at the drop of a hat. The harsh lands of Mongolia were not very suitable for agriculture, so the typical diet consisted mainly of domesticated grazing animals for meat and dairy products, and the few foraged vegetables such as onions or garlic that grew that far north. During his life, Genghis Khan conquered most of modern-day China, Mongolia, and a large portion of the Middle East. This huge empire was not just the product of one man's diplomacy and strategy. The changing climate of Asia at the time may have actually played a key role in his military prosperity. The Mongolian lands were not located in the friendliest of areas. They are approximately on the 46-degree north latitude line, meaning that's in the very north of the temperate zone and almost into the polar regions. In addition, the Mongol lands are landlocked and on the leeward side of the Himalayan mountains. As mentioned previously, the Mongols were a nomadic society. This travel allowed their domesticated animals, the primary source of their food, to have grazing pasture. Nomadic societies are especially sensitive to climatic events because a sudden drought or harsh winter can decrease the amount of grasses available for grazing. In addition, remember that the Mongols did not have any agricultural infrastructure. This means no irrigation, no stores of grain or rice to fall back upon. They were almost completely at the whims of Mother Nature. According to Nicolas de Cosmo for the Institute of Advanced Study, the impacts of climate on the Mongol society came in two phases. First, the tree rings during the period of 1180 to 1200 show that there was an intense drought in the Mongol region. This strained the Mongols' food sources and may have caused political unrest. So when a charismatic young leader came in, promising that he could unify the tribes of Mongolia and get them new land for grazing, the people were happy to get on board. This desperation could have been the leading cause for the Mongols' initial expansion and acquisition of new territories, especially those in China, where rice farming would have provided a more reliable source of food. Secondly, the same tree rings show that the period from 1210 to 1225 to be extremely wet and temperate for the region. The Mongols, now unified under the common cause of gaining land for grazing, were suddenly experiencing a wet, temperate climate. This would have caused an increase in the available grazing land and even higher yields to their newly acquired agricultural territories. This sudden increase in prosperity could be a key factor that allowed the Mongol Empire to continue its expansion. So what can we take away from this tale? As the climate of the Mongolian region grew desolate, the people were pushed to adapt by conquering and seizing new territories, not just for grazing but for the implementation of agriculture. Then, a wet and prosperous period allowed the Mongol influence to grow into a full-fledged empire and to conquer most of Asia. Although the Mongol Empire eventually fell, the legacy that it left behind has withstood the test of time.